Hello everybody, your boy Zack's back to attack yet another video. Another month, another late video. I really am trying to get these out the first week of the month, but this one's really late, so the next one is probably definitely also going to be later in next month. Doesn't really matter. So progress report. Last time on my project, I have gotten up to 15 pages is what I said on that video. So, and right now I'm on 25. So I've done 10 pages worth of work, and that's great, I guess. Really feel like I've been lazing on lately, and I really need to do better. Man, last video was kind of a bummer. Man, the first video of this whole Zack Track series compared to the second Zack Track video is night and day. We got Mr. Sunshine, and then we got Mr. fucking Debbie Downer. And then, I don't know. I feel like right now I'm probably right in the middle of both of those guys. So, we'll see where this video goes. For the rest of the video, I am just gonna kind of go into a hopefully not super long discussion about a lot of different things I've been watching recently because, well, something I absolutely love, obviously, is films and shows, and I've been watching all sorts of different things over the last month or two, and I just kind of want to discuss them kind of real quickly, so I'm gonna be discussing these things. If you're interested, stay tuned, and if you want to hear my thoughts about them real quick, and if not, then you do you. See you later. Bye-bye. Okay, so a little bit ago I saw the latest DC movie, The Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad, which was made in 2016, but The Suicide Squad, which was way better than the first one, and I'm really glad, because I was I don't know if this is gonna be any good. That last one was god awful. It was shit. But this one was really good. It actually surprised me quite a bit. There was a lot of things that the characters did in the film that surprised me, where the characters were going, the things, some actions that the characters took, it shocked me, and so just some of the things that happened in the film just genuinely shocked me. And I didn't even know this was gonna be rated R until I got to the theater and they carded me, because I was what? I didn't know this was rated R. Especially because superhero movies aren't genuinely rated R. That's usually just a very risky thing to do for someone making a superhero film. I mean, Deadpool did it and did it successfully, but that's Deadpool. That's just one of those things that hey, they did it, good job. But could people really continue to keep doing that? They did. It was really good. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of violence, gore. It was funny, and it was really cool. I really liked it. The characters were really engaging, and it's everything that I really wanted the first Suicide Squad to be, and I'm really glad that we got this. I thought it had a better chance, because it's directed by James Gunn, who did the Guardians of the Galaxy movies for Marvel. So, I'm glad that he's staying on board, and he's going to be doing a spin-off show for Peacemaker. John Cena's character in the Suicide Squad, he's getting his own little series. Really glad that this DC movie was great. And DC has actually proven to become a lot better in the films that they've been producing, ever since Aquaman. Aquaman is, in my opinion, whenever they started getting good. Yeah, some people would probably will say Aquaman was terrible or this or that, but I would say ever since Aquaman, that onward, they just nothing but really good movies, except for that Birds of Prey movie. That was shit. Earlier, as the year was beginning, DC also put out the Snyder Cut. It was the 4-hour Snyder Cut of the Justice League, which is a way better version of that movie, Justice League. My God, they really butchered that movie. Whenever you see what we got in theaters and then what Zack Snyder has, that's terrible. It's terrible. Oh my God. Anyway. I give the Suicide Squad a 8.5 out of 10, and the Justice League of Zack Snyder's Justice League, I give that a 8 out of 10. I think those are both really great movies. And the new DC movie, The Suicide Squad, what they put out in theaters, I like that a lot better than what Marvel just recently put out with their Marvel film Black Widow, which I give a 6 out of 10. And that doesn't mean I hate it. It means I like it. It's good, but it's average. And like, I enjoyed myself in the theater while I was watching it, but I wasn't like over the top enthralled with it like it was with these other two films. And but I did really like the Black Widow's father's character. I thought he was kind of funny, and it was an interesting family dynamic that they had. The Black Widow and her family, we really get to see that more in this film, actually for the first time in this film. And it was actually kind of interesting seeing where she came and grew up from and all that. So I mean, I recommend seeing it, especially if you're a big Marvel fan, or especially if you're a big fan of Black Widow. But it's a little too late. Like, sorry for spoilers here, but like, the character died in like Infinity War, so like, why are you doing like an origin-esque type film now? Like, you should have done this like way long ago. And then they're like set up like some sort of like revenge plot with her sister going after Hawkeye because he was there whenever she let go of him and to die in Infinity War. I don't know. It could be interesting. We'll see. I'm sure that'll be like a series or something down the line. Now, what this Marvel film lacked, the Marvel shows are knocking it right out of the park, because now let's start with my least favorite to my absolute favorite. So the Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think it was a really good limited series for what it was, but I really think it would have been better off as a film. Like, they really should have just done that as a movie. And the villains, they should have just been handled a lot better. Like, there was just something about the villains I didn't really care. I thought it was interesting, was it John Walker, I think? I liked his character. It seems like they're hinting at doing more with his character in the future, so that's cool, I guess. That actor was pretty good. So, you know, anyways, it was a good little series, but I really think it would have benefited as a film rather than the series that it was. As for WandaVision, that show was really good, and it is a limited series too, and just like with Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision is like set up for like a future Marvel movie. It'll all tie into that. But WandaVision, it had all sorts of like, it made you question so much. There was a lot of intrigue, and it just kept me like very interested the whole way through. I found all the sitcom references and all that really cool, and I laughed quite a bit at even the dumb jokes. Like, I just laughed. I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. I thought like the finale was kind of weak, and I don't know. I really like the idea of like seeing Scarlet Witch becoming the villain. That's what it seemed like they were doing. And then it kind of did like a little cop-out thing with that Agatha character. I don't know, that was kind of cheap in my opinion. Series as a whole, it's like an 8 out of 10. My favorite series of the Marvel shows so far is Loki, and I'm really glad that it's actually getting like a second season and it isn't like a limited series like the other two, because like there's so much potential with this series, and it was just, it's such like, I don't know, it had my attention from the very beginning, and I was just so upset like seeing Loki die in Infinity War. So like seeing him like have a chance at like another chance like at life again is just it's awesome. And although it seems like him being alive is also like it's a conflict, you know, because there's a whole thing about time and just like that whole dynamic of the characters and the way they go through time in this show. It's really interesting. And the way they did it in the show, it was really cool. It was a very unique show, and then the way they ended it, it was interesting. And I don't know, I'm really psyched for season 2. I don't really want to go into so much spoilers on that, but there's a lot I would like to discuss about that maybe on another video. But that Loki, That's an 8 out of 10 series, like almost 9 out of 10. Is really good, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the future. Of course, as a big Star Wars fan, I would be watching the next animated series out there called The Bad Batch, Star Wars The Bad Batch, and which takes place like during and just after Order 66, with the clones turning on the Jedi and all that, and we're following a group of clones going through that. I thought the series was good. I enjoyed every episode I watched, but there was still filler, and there was just a lot of things that I just didn't think that needed to be there, and I really think by now, it really, in just all mediums of television, but Star Wars especially, there's just so much that can be told, and it doesn't need filler. It doesn't need that. So there's just no point in it being there. So it seems like there was just a lot of like time filling just for no reason. There was a lot of cool surprises that I didn't expect. A lot of characters coming back from old other things that I just cameos and shit I did not expect. I was really excited about. There's a big like climactic event for the history of that universe that happened like towards the end of this season. It's pretty dope. But there's some things that they did with the characters and just some things, some plots like they got the chips in their heads and they're trying to get them out, but it's just like they built up like Wrecker, for example. They built him up to want to like something was happening with him. He said his head was hurting a lot, so and then like he eventually turned on the group for just like almost, it almost seemed like 5 minutes, but they built it up over the last like a couple of episodes for that. Like you might as well not build it up at all. It's just lazy. So Bad Batch is like an 8 out of 10 series. Then there's like another series that I saw recently. I watched it. It was on Amazon Prime. It's called Them. And I was really on board with it. Like, it was like this black family moving into this very kind of racist white neighborhood. And it was interesting seeing them like trying to deal with this. And it was just like the family was just very engaging and compelling, and watching them go through this, it was so good. And there's something going on. And then you keep going, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this because I believe it covers it in the trailer. What's going on is demons. There's fucking demons going on, and it turns out this is actually like a fucking possession, demonic thing. But it's like confusing for like half, if not more than half of the series, and you're like, what? I don't know. Like, this series would have been a lot better if they just didn't put any of that shit in. Like, it was so good, and then they did that. I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. I was loving this series as I was watching it, and then slowly, more and more, I started hating it. And then it ended, and there was a lot of things not tied up, and apparently it's an anthology series, so we're not going to get them tied up. The second season's going to be a whole different thing, whole different story. I'll try to tune in, but I wouldn't give it a shot. You can go ahead and be the judge for yourself. It's like a 6 out of 10 type thing. I don't know. It's not great. It's kind of disappointing. But apart from them, there is 2 more things I wanted to cover, and that is 2 other films I saw in theaters. One is M. Night Shyamalan's Old, which follows a bunch of different families who end up on like this island, and they end up all aging really rapidly. And I gotta say, that movie has me kind of scarred. It's kind of messed up. Kind of a messed up film. Kind of out there, not gonna lie. There's a lot of shit that goes down. I would say that it's definitely something you should... I really think everybody who is maybe interested in like a freaky film, or just maybe likes M. Night Shyamalan's shit, check it out. If you get a chance to see Old, I would say give it a shot. I really don't want to spoil it, but there's a lot of messed up things that happen in this film. Like it's crazy. It's very unique and imaginative. I will say that. stays with you. It's definitely one of those films that you should watch with like a group of friends or just like someone else, because I feel like it's one of those films you could probably like have an in-depth conversation with somebody afterwards, like if not about the film itself, the prospect of the film, the idea of it, or something like that happening to you, or something. It really got me thinking after that film, and I think we'll probably do the same for about everybody else that's watching that. They'll definitely be thinking something. Who the fuck thinks of this shit? That's probably what they're thinking. Anyways, I give old like a 6.5 out of 10. It was good. I enjoyed it. It's not great. There were like towards the ending there was a lot of luck and coincidences, a little too much for my liking. There's just some areas where things fell flat, but there was just a lot. There were a lot of things that I liked about it though. There's quite a bit of moments that I laughed at. Probably even some bits that weren't even meant to be funny. I don't know. So I don't know. I'm definitely gonna buy it whenever it comes out. So I would say give it a shot. The last film I want to talk about, which is the most recent new thing on this list that I have just seen like a few days ago, is Don't Breathe 2. Yes, the sequel to Don't Breathe. And if you don't know what any of that is, Don't Breathe, the one, was about a bunch of kids breaking into this blind badass's house, and he ends up like locking them in there and finding them, and you know, and they're trying to rob him and all that, and it's really cool. And the blind badass is played by Stephen Lang, which I hope I look half as good as Stephen Lang does whenever I am his age. I mean, the dude is like fucking 70 and he looks like this. I really need to get on that shit. That's impressive. Yeah, you have to admit. I didn't really care for the first Don't Breathe all that much. I thought it was okay. I gave that one like a 6 out of 10. And this one, it's a lot of what I wish the first one was. Kinda. I mean, it is kind of different though. And it's kind of weird how we're going from like the antagonist of the first film is now our protagonist, or rather anti-hero. So we're kind of it's kind of weird, but we're following him, and he's protecting this girl, and we can only assume how he got her from watching the first film. This film had a story to tell, and I'm really glad that this film exists. Like, I'm glad that, like, I really didn't know that I wanted a Don't Breathe 2, but I did want a Don't Breathe 2. Because there really is closure that needed to happen from Don't Breathe, and we finally get that in this film. We get that for Stephen Lang's character. I really didn't think we were gonna go that way with this film. Honestly, whenever you see like a sequel to something like this, you really just assume exactly what this next film is going to be like, and it shocked me. Stephen Lang's home was invaded by these trained soldier type guys, and he takes them on, and and they take him on, and it's pretty evenly matched, and it's pretty entertaining from beginning to end. Like, I was never like bored. And even though Stephen Lang's character did what he did in like the first film, and you still find a way to like root for him, or at least I did in this film. It's kind of messed up, man. It was a real intense, violent, intriguing ride, and I'm excited to go see this again. Like, I want to go see this again. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to, so I'll probably end up waiting for the DVD, unfortunately. But it was really good. Like, but I won't really typically go back to the theater to see a movie unless it's that good. And for me personally, it was that good. I give Don't Breathe 2 a 7 out of 10. It was very good. I really enjoyed it. This film, it had a purpose for existing, and I'm glad that we got to see this story through. And yeah, I really want to see Stephen Lang in more shit, okay? Like, the dude, like I said, he's 70, but I mean, obviously he is super ripped and super good shape, so he'd probably be kicking it till he's like 100. But still, Stephen Lang needs to be in more shit, okay? He needs to be like, just put him in more films. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. That ends Zack Track 3. Thank y'all for watching. And battery's dying, so I'm gonna hurry up and turn this off. So bye!